Y'all boys, everybody, y'all boys, welcome back. Welcome back to Outside the Box podcast with your boy Boxx. And thank y'all boys for tuning in again. If you came back, you feel me, I appreciate you. If it's your first time listening, I appreciate you too. Just make sure y'all boys like, subscribe, comment, follow, all that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor lit, y'all boys. Anchor lit, y'all boys gotta jump on Anchor, download that. And we on YouTube, lit 4 episodes, bro. Y'all boys go watch. And I got a special guest this week, you feel me? I got an author, somewhat black activist, a teacher, you feel me? My boy David Jackson in the building, y'all boys.
For sure, man. Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
Give you boys a round of applause for this down crazy, you feel me? So yeah, how you been with this coronavirus going on, man?
I've been good, man. Just staying home, social distancing. I really just been thinking a lot about my students during this time away, but using it to cultivate my skills and just working on little small projects.
Yeah. I seen the other day on Instagram, you was like, there was something about the schools. They were saying something about the kids not logging in.
Yeah.
You had a lot to say about that.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm deeply passionate about that type of stuff, and we're in a crucial time right now, and it's crazy that the humanity has been taken out of a lot of situations where we're concerned about attendance issues as if students don't live in climates of direct poverty. So, you know what I'm saying? It's so many other things that we could be talking about. Attendance should not be the biggest issue. Like, what do you expect? I mean, if they gave us time off when we was in school, it's a vacation.
Who taking it serious?
Right.
I barely was learning in school, so.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Who think I'm gonna sit there and really want to learn at home, man?
Yeah, man, like those connections matter, dog. So.
So yeah, that's crazy, man. Cause we were just talking about that on the last episode. Where I was talking about even with school, I feel like we've been putting too much pressure on the teachers recently, and I kind of like this. Cause I'm like, if you're a real parent, you'll take it in your hands to really teach your child at this moment. It should open your eyes to see, like, look, they're not gonna do it all the time, and they probably not even getting it right now. So it's like we should really get it together now. Like, y'all boys it should be waking y'all up, even though it's a bad thing right now. It should be waking everybody up. But
it's just so hard, man. Again, when you go back to poverty, you think about these parents. A lot of these parents are essential workers. You know what I'm saying? So
that's true too.
These parents are working hourly to make sure they're feeding their kids, and so when we backtrack and we say, well, attendance is an issue. Well, when you remove the parent from the situation because these parents are essential workers and we no longer have schools, then you got students who are taking care of their younger siblings. So just imagine these 11-year-old, 12-year-olds, like they're playing mom and daddy for guys who are like 5, 6, and 7, and even maybe the 7-year-olds are playing mom and daddy for guys who are like 5. So there's so many intertwining issues that are happening right now. There's so many things at stake, and again, attendance is like
that should be the last thing they worry.
It's the last thing we should be talking about.
Yeah, if they really care. All right, let's jump into your book, boy. Untitled. Welcome to my mind, man. You was really personal in that book, man. Like, I ain't see that coming. Like, sure. I read it when you first dropped it, and I lost the book, and I just recently read it again.
For sure, I appreciate that.
And it's like, I was shocked. Let me say that I was shocked because I'm like, most people coming from the environment we come from is not gonna be this open to even put it in a book. At that, and it was like a lot of. There was chapters if you want to.
I mean, I don't. That's why I just called it Untitled.
You didn't really have chapters in it.
It's just entries. You know what I mean? So like the book was almost like a diary for me, and it was something that I felt like I needed to do in the process to trying to heal and figure out. And just like you said, most people coming from our circumstances, coming from the hood, we're not trained to be vulnerable about our experiences. And I think in order to figure out where I was in that particular moment, I had to go backwards and be extremely vulnerable in that process. And now it's been nearly 2.5, 3 years since the book been out, and it's probably been one of the best experiences of my life to be able to sit down and backtrack and just uncover all types of stuff that I thought I would probably never speak about in public.
Yeah, you think you're still learning after about yourself after writing the book?
Yeah, man. Like the book was the journey to figuring out how I could be whole and how I can live in a different life, man. I think 100% every day for me is a process of still figuring out how I can heal.
Yeah.
But man, I learned so much about myself every day.
Yeah, I see, man. Y'all boys gotta make sure I get that book, man. But it was a couple chapters that stood out to me that I want to discuss, like 16, Untitled 16. It was something love mom. It was about your mom.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's just about like how you wanted so much attention and all that from her, but she was giving it to you. You just couldn't see it at that moment.
For sure.
She was giving you exactly what you needed.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit more about that one?
Yeah, man. So yeah, all of the Untitles were like I didn't name them because as the reader was reading, I wanted the reader to feel something and think about their personal experience.
Yeah.
So I thought if I named what I was feeling in the moment, then you would start to think about that. So I wanted you to kind of explore freely without me telling you what you have to. So yeah, man, that entry 16 about my mother. It was kind of just a boy's tale of becoming a man, and obviously I was super close. I am super close to my mom, but there were certain things that I wanted from her that I don't think I knew she was giving me.
Yeah.
I mean, I come from a family I got a lot of women in my family. I got 7 sisters.
You the only boy, right?
I'm the only boy.
It's crazy.
So like the attention that I wanted from my mom, it was almost something that I kind of wanted from my father too, but I never got it from my pops, but not in the conventional way. So, but it wasn't until I got older that I realized, man, my mom was doing the best she could with the hand she was dealt, man. Like she took care of my sister and I, my older sister, and she took care of my father who's disabled. So the attention that I wanted at the time, she was giving it to me the best way she could considering the circumstance. And I just couldn't tell.
Wow. And at the end, it does make you the better person that you don't even see. Cause like you said, when I read that, I felt that one. Cause I'm the last of my families, and I'm the baby. But it's like you said, my mom had a lot of stuff to do, and it was like I felt like I didn't get cause they came from Haiti,
right?
So when they came here, they had to just work. I'm the last one, so all my other brothers and sisters, they got the time with my mom in Haiti. They remember growing up with her being there, and I was like, with me, I ain't feel that. And as I got older, I was telling that shit. I was like. But then again, if I did get it, I don't think I would be this strong person that I am today without you even doing that. And it's like, it's crazy, but it works in a way that we don't see it.
Yeah, nah, I bet you could appreciate her just that much more, man. Like, just looking at your mom now, like she did what she knew how to do, and she did it the best way she could. And then when you look at yourself, like, man, like you came out solid. Yeah.
You know
what I mean? So it just makes you appreciate moms a lot more.
That's totally true. And then Untitled 13, it was about Trayvon Martin. Yeah. That one hit me, and it still hit me right now. But you let us know what you was going through when you wrote that, so then I could jump in.
So for a lot of us, man, in 2012, we were still in high school, so that was primarily our first time that we realized we were black. And in the moment, it was a political statement to walk out of school, to have the Skittles, to have the Arizona. But while we was in high school, I never knew exactly what I was doing it for. Like I was doing it to get out of school. I was doing it to have fun. But as I started to get older and I started to go through these smaller instances where I'm realizing that the system is against you, not only is the system against you, there are so many things threatening the black body. And so I had to start, again, taking this journey backwards to figure out, well, when was the first time I truly realized I was black? And a lot of it came from that Trayvon Martin incident. I was home when we watched the verdict. We watched the verdict on TV, and as we were watching it, like I thought for sure George Zimmerman was gonna lose.
Who didn't think he was going to jail?
Right?
Well,
it
all
like
the black people. I mean, all the white people didn't get they wanted to, but
it seemed like it was so evident, man. I was like, yo, man, this guy clearly had malice intent. Like he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He's going down, but the night he walked free, like I remember we had ordered some pizza that night, and the person I was with told us that pizza may not come. So we expected some form of riot. We expected some form of uprising. Then as I started to think through, I was like, man, it was beyond evident the whole time that Zimmerman would walk away free. And for so many of us, it was a coming to age story. We knew exactly what Trayvon Martin meant to us because he could have been us.
He was our age,
age, right? You know what I'm saying? So when I thought about that and we think about my identity, like I know I'm black.
Yeah.
So when I started to think, well, when was the first time that Trayvon Martin incident was the first time I realized that I'm black, and regardless of if it's 2012 or 2020, that can be me at any
anytime.
moment. It could be me. It could be my students. Like, it can be any of us at any moment.
That's the crazy part. Like you said, when I read it, it hit me again, and I was like, dog, I don't feel safe if I walk with a hoodie on. Right. Just even in a convenience store, just anywhere. Like if I got on a hoodie, and it's like you don't even think about it, but second nature make you take it off. Sure. And it's like, but if you white, you don't second guess that, because it's like you just got on your hoodie. You're not thinking about, hey, they gonna look at me crazy in this store, like I'm coming to rob it, or I'm gonna come do this. And I was like, yo, that, like you said, that was true. That's the first time I realized, we black. Yeah. And we ain't getting these same treatments that they getting, and it was crazy because he was our age, like literally. Yeah, man. And same age as us.
It was wild about it too, man. It opened your eyes to the many different ways that we're criminalized on a daily basis. Just like you said, the hoodie. I mean, we wore hoodies to school like every day. Yep. Primarily, when my school shirts were dirty, I would just throw a hoodie on. Yeah. And just to know that the hoodie being so criminalized, I cannot wear it as fashion. Yeah. I cannot wear it. I cannot wear it as uniform when I'm not in school. It just changes so much. And just to again look back at that cases, the amount of things that the white imagination was able to create in that moment was just disgusting and diabolical. And these are things that they translate to what we see right now every day in our lives, man. So that Trayvon Martin case gave me something to look at. Like this is America for real.
Yeah, that thing was it was a real eye opener, but dang, it was bad that he had to die like that for real. But rest in peace, Trayvon Martin, too, while we had it. And another one that hit me on there was Untitled 18. It was more about your passion. He's like, you came back home, you came back here, and then you felt your passion. Like, elaborate on that. A lot of people don't even find their passion in life.
That's probably one of my favorite ones, man. I think that was talking about passion speaking, and you just being able to follow. Coming from the hood, man, the very first thing they tell you, or teachers are always going to push, you need to go to college, you need to get a degree, and then right after that statement they say, don't come back to Miami. Or they say you need to go, you need to find something to do with your degree. Or people will always tell you there's nothing here. And primarily, man, it's terrible because these are people that are saying there's nothing here that are from here. So when somebody says that, or when somebody said that to me, it was always like, okay, yeah, you're right. I should be exploring other options when I get to college. I went to school in upstate New York, so I was like, I should be looking to stay in New York. I should be looking at Texas. I should be looking at all these places where I think I can make a better living for myself, but. I worked for a program called NYRP up there at Syracuse, man, and I got to work with a lot of great children, and I realized, man, I was super talented at what I was doing. I was great at it, and I wondered why I shouldn't take that talent and come back to Miami, because we're waiting for somebody to save this county, or we're waiting for good teachers to come, but we never put a huge emphasis on reclaiming some of that talent that leaves. Like, just imagine if we had a mechanism, we had a system that when we had a teacher preparation program, when students were in high school, we followed them directly through college, and we knew like these students are going to be the best people to serve their community because they're from here. They know how the community eats, sleeps, breathes, drinks. Like, they understand it 100%, man. So for me, it was all about trying to come back home and being just a small piece of change to something larger. Like, it wasn't about saving the whole state. It was just more about just following what I knew I could do, and just want to be around people who looked like me, walked like me, and talked like me. Wow.
Yeah, that's what everybody should be doing, in a way, trying to help. But we get like you said, we get taught not to. So it's hard to go back and make sure you get it right the right way. And so is that what led you to like the Thug Project? And I love the name, by the way.
For sure, man. Yeah, man. The thing. So it kind of it starts as just an idea, like in college. And I know Rashard, somebody I grew up with, who's just become my right hand man, my best friend and my brother. He had similar thoughts when he was in school, just about what he could be doing for the community and why he would ultimately want to come back home. So we were just sitting down together one night, and we were just like, man, why don't we just do this together? So the name Project Thug, the T.H.U.G.S, stands for Transforming Hope and Unifying Generations. And the idea behind Thug is just taking what they see us as and turning it into something powerful. Because again, at the Trayvon Martin situation, everybody said he was a thug.
Yeah.
And that's often how black folk are put into this box, like they're all thugs. So we took that name and we wanted to create something that would bridge the gap between this disconnect that appears in schools. So we said we wanted to create a program that directly tied higher education and vocation. So vocation is obviously something that they don't really talk about in schools anymore. So we got.
You said vocation?
Vocation, like technical skills.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell's a vocation?
Nah. So we took it and we said we wanted to bridge this gap. We wanted to kill this violence that exists in the classroom because teachers unknowingly push students away because they tell them you got to go to college, you got to go to college. And then they're going to celebrate the 4.0 student because that student makes the school look good and makes them look good. But when it comes to a guy with a 2.5, it comes to a guy with a 2.1, or when it comes to somebody who doesn't necessarily care about going into higher education, we isolate them and we put them inside a box. So what our program is, like, we want to take them outside the box. Shout out to the podcast. So we want to show these guys that it doesn't matter what aspect of the community you want to go into. At the end of the day, everybody has a job and everybody has a responsibility, whether you're a janitor or you're the president, or whether you're a sanitation worker or you're a principal. Like, at the end of the day, like, you have a duty and responsibility to make this community better. And if we can't start to see each other as equals, then our community is gonna constantly and continuously go through the same cycle. So that's what our program is, and we do it through 2 times a month, just really small meetings where we pack a 31-day calendar into a 9-to-5 experience.
Wow, that's awesome.
These kids are breakfast, lunch, like they're there all day, like working hard 2 days straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And like I said, I like the thug. What the acronym stand for again? What y'all make it stand for again?
Transforming hope and unifying generations.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome, man. Because I'm a big Tupac fan, and he was the one who emphasis on the word thug and made everybody like, oh,
the hate you give.
The hate you give, and it's like people don't understand that. Sooner or later we're gonna get right with it, because y'all don't made the word,
right? And
y'all associate it to us, but sooner or later, we can change this, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't even understand that.
For sure, man. Yeah, man. Pac had the right idea, and I think at the end of the day, man, like, we can't keep waiting for people to come in and do it for us, or we cannot keep looking at the hands that destroy the community and asking these hands to come back and help us rebuild it. There has to be something that gives, and what has to give is us. Like, we have to figure out how we can create the infrastructure to support us a little better, and that's through kids, man. Like, that's through investing in the youth.
Yeah.
Right? It's not through going out and bringing people in. It's preparing individuals now, investing short term right now for a long term payoff.
They the future, man. And it's like,
sure.
Like I said, back with the parents, like, I understand it's hard in the hood, but they the future. So unless we investing in them the same way we invest in everything else,
for sure,
it's gonna be hard to change everything. And that's the thing we gotta start putting in people's mind and opening up to see, like, yo. Like, we got to get right now. Ain't nobody saving us. Ain't nobody going to help us. Because a lot of people like the government assistance stuff, but I feel like it's horrible.
For sure.
Which they don't even understand with the Section 8s and the food stamp, which they need. But with Section 8, it's so lost to me. It's like, you're stuck for the rest of your life. They can't even work.
For sure.
At all. I'm like, how do you think you're going to get out of this situation staying like this? Like, where you can't work. It can't only be sports for us. Like,
for sure. Yeah, I agree.
It's a small hand of people coming out of sports. Even though Miami got one of, like, the best polls, like, people making it to the league, it's hard, man.
Yeah.
It's hard.
We've put sports on a pedestal, man, and we've heroicized it so much to where every single black boy looks at an athlete and says, I can do that.
Yeah.
And there has to be some truth to it. Right? Yeah. We have to be able to, like, I'm not saying shatter dreams, but we have to let guys know early, look for something else, right? And we got to be honest in the way we do it, but still, it's not about saving feelings, it's about just exposing to the truth, right? Like, I need to let you know, man, like, there are other ways that you can get there, and I don't want you to get married to this idea of trying to make it to the NFL. Let's figure out where we can help you move into this worworld. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying stop playing sports. I'm just saying, man,
if you good, you good.
Right. It's like, you got to explore these options.
Because remember, with sports, one mistake can ruin an injury, can't get the grades, or this, a slip up, and it's done. But it's like when you learn something, they can't take that away from you at all. Whatever you learn is always you'll always be good with that, man. Now with the book, we're gonna talk about the last chapter, man. The end.
Yeah.
That one was hard. I ain't think you was gonna be that open in the book. If you want to elaborate on the last chapter of that book.
Yeah, man. So the last chapter, spoiler alert, like the last chapter is essentially supposed to be the first chapter.
Wow.
Because from the last chapter, at the very end, I'm telling you that I figured out, because I write the last chapter while I'm in the psych ward.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm telling you that I finally figured out I'm at rock bottom and I need to go back and I need to figure out how I got here.
Yeah.
So I need to go ahead and redesign how I live my life. So the last chapter, man, the last chapter was super personal. And what I wanted the reader to do was read the last chapter, not only feel my pain, but just think about their very own pains, things that they held very near and dear to their heart that they never shared with anybody else, and just take that journey to figure out, man, how exactly did I get here, and why am I in this place where self-mutilation, or why am I in this place where suicide, or why am I in this place where I ultimately feel the only way that I can escape is if I remove myself from the equation, and ultimately that's not a healthy place to be. And a lot of us sit in that place daily, but we use other things to mask that we're in this place of sadness, this very deep sadness that just causes you to live in darkness. So I wrote that chapter primarily to let people know that even though you've seen a smile, like even though you see the Instagram posts, like you see me at parties, like I was out having fun, I was not okay through those moments. And I wanted to let people know that it's okay to not be okay. And then it's even better to go back and figure out, why are you not okay? And the chapter before that, I'm talking about therapy, right? I'm talking about going and sitting down with somebody. I'm talking about taking this survey. I'm talking about expressing my deepest truths. I'm talking about finally being able to get help in our community, man. Like we don't say therapy is where we want to go or what we want to do. It's like, I'm gonna get over it. Like, no, you don't get over that type of sadness, man. Like you're angry, like you know what I mean. Like you don't get over that stuff, and therapy helped me get to a point where I needed to make some changes to the way I was going about living my life.
So you went to therapy after or before?
I went to therapy after.
So you didn't go before? Before you wasn't even trying it.
My parents Jamaican, man. Ain't no such thing as therapy, man. Like you either go to your room and pray about it, or you know what I'm saying. Everything gonna be alright, man. Like man up, like all that stuff that come with it, man. Ain't no therapy, but Syracuse, they make it. Once you have an incident of like self-mutilation or anything that directly pairs with potential suicide, Syracuse makes it mandatory for you to go to therapy. So you cannot graduate, you cannot be cleared. And this is May 5th, 2017, and 10 days later, I was supposed to graduate.
Wow.
So there was like urgency. Like if I did not go to therapy in that moment, then I would have to forfeit my degree until I do that.
Wow, that's crazy. The crazy part is, people don't think about therapy. I've been once, literally one time. I want to go more, but I've been one time. And it was like, it was our senior year. I was stressed the fuck out. I almost wasn't gonna graduate. So I was depressed. I'm like, yo, I don't want to be the first person in my family not to graduate. Yeah. I was all over the place. So I went to the therapist lady, but I ain't like her. She ain't asked me. I didn't feel like she was trying to get no. I just feel like she was there for the check. And I was paying out of pocket too. So I'm like, I ain't like her. But I ain't never go back after that. But just having that experience, I liked it in a way. But she wasn't being real. Like I feel like she seemed black, young. I ain't come with my parents. I came with my own. And she was just like, he ain't really trying to do it. Let me get this check and get up out of it. But I really want to find a good therapist which I feel everybody need. Yeah. Because coming from our community, we don't talk about shit. We go through, we just smoke weed. Yeah. And like you said, master pain, you high every day, you drinking every day. And it's like we were just talking about before. If you hanging out with your friends, you need alcohol. Like, wait, what happened to the time when we was younger? Yeah. We had a blast, no liquor, no drugs, and it's like, what changed? We became adults and we had to deal with reality. And it's like, oh shit,
yeah, man,
it's too real.
Yeah, I think so many people have that experience where they do go, they do seek help, and then when they get there, it just seems like like this isn't for me. But I think that we should normalize finding a good therapist. Like we should normalize investing in a good therapist. There are a lot of, like, especially in this day and age, 2020, man, there are a lot of young black or older black, like there are a lot of great black therapists out there who understand why we need this so much, and how a lot of the trauma that we experience on a daily is things that are ingrained within our imagination and just ultimately within our family lineage, man.
Yeah.
Like a lot of this shit we've inherited.
True.
You know what I mean? Like we've normalized so many things that shouldn't be normal for children at particular ages, and we've normalized coping. Like we normalize coping mechanisms and not dealing with our problems and running directly away from it. And I think there are so many people out there who understand that, and because they understand, like they know how to hit you where you should be hit. Like if you want to clear some of that stuff out on the inside, so you can so you can rebuild.
Yeah, that's true, man. Y'all boys gotta start investing in therapists, man. Y'all can't always be on these drugs and stuff like that, man. Y'all boys gotta chill out. But so yeah, I see you got on a Bobby's Gym shirt on today too.
Man.
Like, what got you into working out? Cause you got swole, boy.
Yeah, dog. Man, I was I played sports for a while. Yeah. But those workouts are cool, man. It's cardio. But and I worked out in college, obviously, but you can't work out and eat French fries right after. I think you're just gonna be healthy. So while I was going through this process of healing, I wanted to figure out what exactly can I use to help me cope. Not what can I use to escape my problems or what can I use to solve my problems, but what can I use just as a place to think, somewhere where I can be in control at all times. And for me, that place became the gym. Yeah. So I found Bobby's Gym about 3 years ago. I was on Google and I was scrolling and I found it. I went. And I opened the door, and it was all old school, all iron, ran by a guy well into his 70s named Bobby. And the first day I came to the gym, Bobby walks with a limp. Like he walked me halfway through the gym. I told him I'm coming back this afternoon. I was on lunch break. I told him I'm coming back. I'm signing up today. And then Bobby and I, man, we started to develop a really great friendship, and it was almost like a mentor to mentee, father to son type thing. One where I started to look at working out in a different light. I started to look at it as this can not only be body development, this can be mental development, but this is something for me where I can take a step back from my day-to-day. I can take a step back from the demands of being a teacher. I can take a step back from the day-to-day of trying to figure out how it is I can run my nonprofit. I can take a step back from my family. I can take a step back from my friends. In the gym, when I put them headphones on, man, I'm by myself. Right? It's me and all my problems, and one by one, I'm knocking them out. Right? Or I can be angry in the gym. I can be angry and nobody is gonna look at me like, yo, something wrong with this guy.
It's true.
Like I feel great there, and then so the gym, it became a part of my lifestyle, man. I go to the gym 6 days a week. I cleaned up the way I eat. I don't participate in alcohol, like unless it's a special occasion, and I will come out of retirement. But Bobby's Gym is just something that I hold very near and dear to my heart. Like, he's been a gym owner for 40 plus years, and recently we've been having conversations just about me getting into that industry. And he wants to see what I look like on the management side. So I mean, I'm interested in taking the gym to another level, man. So I just want the gym to be there for another 40 years, so people can experience that joy that I feel when I walk through those gates, and I feel how hot it is in there that day, and I got a goal on my mind, and I know I'm coming in here to knock out some of these problems.
That's great. That's good. Hey, one thing you just said, your father's being disabled. How was that like growing up? Like, was it like, how is he, like, you just in a wheelchair or?
Nah, yeah. So my father, man, like, so he's a little older, but he has diabetes. He's legally blind, so he can't see. He's bedridden, so he doesn't really do too much moving. So growing up, it was like, so I watched my father deteriorate.
So he wasn't always like that?
Nah. So I remember my father, he did a really good job hiding that he was blind. So, excuse me, like we would play outside, like maybe when I was like 5 or 6, and we would throw a ball into a crate. And I just remember, man, like my father missed like maybe 100% of the time, but he did a really good job acting as if he could see, because I would be the one to always go get the ball.
Yeah.
Or even when it was coming to cutting grass, like my pops would go out there and destroy the grass. You know what I'm saying? But it was, I mean, part of his pride, but he would never let me know that it was something that he couldn't do. And then like his health just started to go down. Like he slowly stopped walking, neuropathy in his feet, so like, he can't really feel his feet because of the diabetes. So I didn't have the traditional father to son relationship. I didn't get a chance to play with my father like in those capacities. Like we never had really deep conversations about women, man. So for a while, man, I was really envious, man. Like I had this animosity in my heart towards him because I felt like he robbed me of that experience, and I kind of blamed him for the things that he was going through. Like, well, how do you not take care of yourself? And now I'm out here and I need advice. I'm out here and like I want to be able to tell you about what I'm going through with women. Like I want to have these moments with you, and you took that from me. So it wasn't until going back to the book, wasn't until I wrote the book that I realized, man, like, again, my father did the best he could. Uh-huh. And he did the best he could considering the circumstance. Like the things he could talk about, he tried. And he tried it in his way, and I just didn't understand that. And now, being a little older and being a little more responsible, I talk to him a lot more, and I'm realizing, just even when we reminisce, man, like he did what he could, and I cannot be upset at him for that.
Yeah, and at least you had him. You know, a lot of people growing up don't have him at all, and they don't understand the impact that it has on you. Both sexes, they be like, "Oh, dudes don't need a man in the house." Like, that's a lie. Everybody needs a father figure, even though it's like you said, the best he could do, he was there. Right. You remember memories, you have that or that. But if you didn't have it at all, 0%, people understand the impact it has, and especially on women and men too. Like, how I'm supposed to know how to be a man? I never even seen one. Yeah. Partake. Like, I'm looking up to people, but I'm like, I never seen one close that I feel like, okay, I can do this. I could pick up this. Like, even though he wasn't always perfect, I seen the good. I could take these traits. So if you've never seen that one, you have no traits. And then it'd be with the women, they tell you, I want you to act like this and be like this. You don't really know how it is to be a man. You need to see one, grow up in your house and know, oh, this is what I want. This is how I need you to react. You're just going off of social media and what you see and what you think you like. Most of the time, it's not actually what you even like. Yeah,
man. I do. Like I look at it. I agree, man. But I look at it in a different light now, man. Just being taking these journeys, man. I'm realizing that, especially looking at my students, like they're middle schoolers, high schoolers, and I've had a chance to work with some elementary students. I'm realizing that like a lot of them don't have father figures, and a lot of them don't have men to look up to, and then they start to use that as an excuse to live in a certain way, and then that becomes a problem. If boys use that excuse to live a certain way, then they'll grow to men who use that exact same excuse to manipulate other people and to live the way they want to live, but they're just justifying it with a past experience, man. So just going back to these cycles and trying to break these curses like we was talking about earlier, man. The goal of every man who figures out this wholeness, or the goal of every man who figures out how he should live or how he should show up, is to remind that you cannot use not having a man in your life as an excuse to be a bullshit man. Exactly. Or you cannot use that as an excuse to be a bullshit boy, because you know the difference between right and wrong. Yeah. And you're just choosing to do wrong and then justify your wrong, as opposed to doing right and then justify your right using the wrongs that you've seen.
Yeah, it's just the past, the traumas. They escaping. They ain't trying to be real reality. They just running from it, man. Let's wrap up this episode, man. It was nice, man. Y'all boys. Make sure y'all follow my dog on Instagram. Give me your Instagram.
T.H.U.G.S. David L. Jackson.
Yeah, y'all boys look into that Thug project.
For sure.
Yeah, you feel me? Like, one more question. Like, what's your plans with going on, like, later for the future? Like, what's your next plans? What's your next goals to attack?
Man, so on the professional side, at some point, man, I want Project Thug, where Charlotte and I, man, we both want Project Thug to turn into something that turns into some form of stability mechanism where we're not only able to employ our students, we're able to give them internships once they come back on the alumni track, but we want Project Thug to be something really big in a community something prestigious where students can come, be trained to come back to the community. We want that to be big. We want that to be the full-time. I want to get in. I'm working on a master's degree right now.
Are you back in school?
Yeah, University of Miami. So I want to get into the policy of education. I want to get into politics at some point. I want this gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to own this gym. You know, man, with Project Thug, we want to have several outlets to where we can put students into not only make their own personal money, but just to see it, just so that they can be experienced in the job world and in the vocation world. You know, personally, man, you know, I want to get married and have kids and all that good stuff, man. So, you know, I just want to be somebody in the community that others can look at and say, man, you know what, he came back.
And then
I can come back to it.
Yeah. All right, man. Y'all boys, thank you for tuning in Outside the Box. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, comment, all that, man. Let me know who y'all want next up here or whatever the case is, you feel me? I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate my homie David for pulling up, joining with the kid, you feel me? And make sure y'all go check out Bobby's Gym, you feel me?
Gym.
Y'all boys got to get right, man. It's 2020, boy. Y'all can't be fat no more. He got me want to go run some laps outside right now. So, y'all boys stay tuned, man. Just know it's a wrap.